Okay, great. I want to thank you all for making it to another meeting of the Santa Barbara Real Estate Investor Association. Again, we have very few people showing up here right now, but we did have about 20 people that signed up and paid in advance, so I know that they're going to be here. They're just going to be here a little bit late. Now, when I saw that I had 2 speakers and 3 vendors, and I had nobody signed up to show up and listen to what was going on, I got a little excited the last few days, wondering, uh-oh, this doesn't look too good. So one of the things that I'm going to be doing is making a change here with this whole thing that we've been doing, and moving it from evenings to Saturdays. So next month we're going to have, who are we having? September, October, we will have Sensei out here next month. Okay, and then after that, we're going to have Terry Hale back in November. And that's going to be our first time that we're going to be Saturday here from 1 o'clock until 4. Okay, so that's going to help out a little bit because people can come here for out of town. They can spend a little bit of time having some food maybe before we have the meeting, because the meeting will go from 1 to 4, okay, in the afternoon. Plus, when it's over, then we can kind of hang out down there in the bar, or we can hang out around here, wherever, and have a little bit more time for networking and getting the contacts that we really need to kind of make this business go anyway. Okay. One of the other things that I might be doing is getting more contract workers, more volunteers for different things like, well, the REIA, of course, and the Personal Power Project and some of the other businesses I've got, but also working with UCSB on some interns. And of course, as soon as I mentioned interns, Roberta said, "Oh, did you hear? The government is going to come out and stop that interns can no longer work for free." And I thought, oh boy. You know, just when you think you got something going. So who knows? You know, it takes a while for laws to get into action, so we're going to do the best we can to keep building this thing up, because the truth is, if there's not a lot of people showing up here right now, it's my fault. Okay? I need to be able to get enough people helping out, to drive enough people to these meetings, so that when people do want to show up, they get on the web and they go, "Oh my God, this thing was sold out like 2 weeks before the event." And so that means in the future I'm going to have to sign up a little bit sooner and pay in advance a little bit sooner than waiting to the last minute. And believe me, I love waiting to the last minute too. That's how I do my taxes. So I know the feeling, but I need to change that so that we can make this a better organization and continue to have it grow and be something that's useful for everybody. This looks great on the internet because nobody can see that the room is empty. There are more people in here, but we need to do better than that. So that's my commitment to you. That's what I'll be doing over the next 2014 will not look like 2013, believe me. Anybody go to any of the meetings that we had back at the pizza place? Okay. Anybody go to the meetings at Denny's? Yeah. Okay. How about the meetings, first meetings at First American Title? Okay, so you can see we've had some progression. We are making progress. 2014 is going to be better, I promise you. Okay? So I want to thank you for being here. And Santa Barbara Real Estate Investor Association, the main website. What we've got is also a link to YouTube, and we've got Linda Pliagas there from one of our meetings we had on a Saturday. And that's actually the inspiration that I got. When Linda had these meetings here on the weekend, I realized, you know, it's a lot better. We don't have to have an all-day thing. That's huge. But at least if we had like 3 hours during a Saturday to give people more flexible times to be here, get away from their job, I think it would work better. And it will. So Linda, thank you very much for that inspiration and kind of give me a little kick to do that. Okay, meetup.com, this surprised me. This is really good for networking, for getting to know other people and having things happen. And we've had in the past a lot of people sign up for these meetings through meetup.com, and absolutely nobody signed up through meetup.com, maybe 1 or 2 people. And everybody's coming through the website, the Santa Barbara REIA website, which is fine. It doesn't really matter. It was just kind of a shift that I went, what's going on here? So do it however you want, but know that this still is a good thing to use for networking because it has driven more members, more people to our meetings from using it. Okay? What is our agenda tonight? Well, we've gone through a little bit of the registration and networking and some food, and we've still got some food back here and some wine. Which, you know, if we shifted this whole thing to 9 o'clock in the morning, I guess we'd have to stop drinking wine. So we're definitely not going to do that.
That's why you're going to have it at 1 o'clock, right?
We can have one for lunch, you know, wine is fair, starting at 1 o'clock or whatever for lunch. So
champagne.
And the champagne. So we'll continue that when we shift over to Saturdays. We'll have the wine, we'll have the food, and you know, whatever else shows up. For me to be able to stay on this thing so that we can get everything we need to do, I did want to start it and get things rolling. So one of the things that we're going to talk about is you know, disclosures, rent-rated properties, personal power project, and then also something called HODIO. And after that, we're going to go from 6:45 to 7 o'clock, and we'll have Keith and Roberta, who are here now. Thank you very much for showing up. Yay. Yay. And then we've got Linda Pliaga, she's back there. Thank you so much, Linda, for showing up. Great stuff you're doing too. I've been watching, you know, Google Hangouts and everything else out there. You're just doing great. So thank you. And Brandon Hawkinson is back. Hey, Brandon. So he's going to give us a little bit of information on lending and some other things too, I'm sure. What's that?
Deer hunting.
Deer hunting. There you go. That sounds good. So we'll do that, and then we'll take a little break as we get set up for our next speaker. So more wine, more food, more fun. Okay, and then we're going to have Jim is here. Jim, and it's Lisi. I did say it right the first time, right? Jim Lisi is here. So thank you, Jim, for showing up. Jim is a perfect example of how good LinkedIn is, because what I've been doing is I've been going through LinkedIn, and as people come to me, they say, hey, can I connect with you? I'd like to connect with you. Of course, I go out there and connect with people too. But every time they do, I look and see, well, what kind of things are they doing? Which is really hard to see on something like Facebook. You know? You can come to my barbecue, but I don't know what you're doing in business-wise, right? But you get on LinkedIn, it's a whole different story. So I look at what Jim was up to and what, God, that'd be great. You've got some good information on business, and you're doing commercial stuff. You've got some things here that people want to know about. So this is, I want to thank you for being here, for showing up. Okay. So he will speak to us business valuation, and he will cover that, some of this information and more. And then we'll take another little break as we get Bill Twyford is here. He just took off. He and his wife, Dwan, is here too. And that's the next thing. Oops, that's the next thing that we'll have after that break. After Jim, we'll have Bill Twyford up here. He'll be talking about single-family homes and about how to get these properties and doing, you know, short sales, all kinds of good things. He's a great speaker, and he is going to be offering a boot camp this coming weekend. You know, Saturday and Sunday right here at Fest Parker. It might not be in this room, but it'll be here at Fest Parker. So you won't have to go very far, and the price is right. I think it's $49 for 2 days. So that's a lot of good education. I was really excited about going to that, and all of a sudden I realized, uh-oh, I have a class reunion. Can't miss the class reunion, right? So I'm not going to be able to make that 2-day event, but for $49, I would be on, believe me. So in any case, that is where we're at, and we'll be through, and we're going to be giving away a few things. And as you guys listen to what's going on, at the end, I do have a couple free hours of real estate support, computing, going green. If anybody's interested in that, I've got some paperwork you can sign and get back to me. But we're also going to give a little book off that Roberta has written. And so you need to listen closely, because I'm going to ask a question, and whoever's got the right answer gets the book, and she's going to autograph it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Roberta. Appreciate that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about disclosure and due diligence. You probably noticed on the door when you came in, you may not, I don't know, but there's a little thing I hung on the door that talks about the fact that this is really kind of information and entertainment here tonight. Now, I'm probably not the most entertaining person you've ever seen, but the idea is that we're not here to do big deals. We're not here to have you sign contracts and things to spend a lot of money on whatever's coming up. You need to do some due diligence before you get to that level, okay? We had a meeting last month, and a lot of us signed up, and we're heading down the path of doing some things that after we did some due diligence, we kind of backed off and went, maybe not. So, very, very important. You get out of this meeting, you might go do a 1 or 2 day boot camp. You know, it's $95. There's not much due diligence you need to do on $95. You know, you can spend that for lunch. Okay? So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you get to the end of the 2 days on any event, and they start coming up and saying, okay, you want to be in our program, this is going to be $30,000, you just sign here, this is your opportunity of lifetime, you're going to get to, you know. So, you know, in some cases, if it's appropriate for people to sign up for that, then great. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. I know you're wondering where all the people are at. I am too. 20 people signed up and paid, so they're going to show up. They're just going to be late. This happened last month too.
Okay.
Okay? So Dewan and Bill are going to be speaking here a little bit later on. I want to thank you very much for both of you showing up to do this.
No problem.
We are going to have it be, Michael's doing the video, so whatever goes up is going to go up to YouTube on this evening. And of course, when you guys do your 2-day event, that's your thing. You won't be their video. Okay?
Gotcha.
So I want to thank you very much for showing up.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so on the due diligence, you know, it's really your job. You're not here to come back and go, damn, I just got stung for $200,000 and you brought these people in here. I'm sorry. Paperwork's up there. It's your responsibility. I can provide people and I can provide some information, but it's really your job to do your due diligence, and whatever decision that you make is a decision that you got to live with. So don't jump into something quicker than you feel that you've had the time to know what's going on. Okay? That was last month. Okay, this is this month. So how do you check? Well, one of the quickest, easiest things I talked about this last month is you can come in and you can go, Johnny Mitchell. Okay, I'm going to go to the internet. Google search, Johnny Mitchell scam. If a lot of stuff comes up, what have you been doing, Johnny? If nothing comes up, he's been doing some good stuff, probably. So that's one place you can start, but that's not everything. You need to keep going on. Talk to other people who have done deals. It starts with the people, not the properties. Okay? So that information is on the board there. So let's go over to just move on. Any questions about due diligence before we move on? Rent-ready properties. One of the things that I've been talking about in the past are the properties that I scout out in different states, locations, to do either joint ventures with people, and we do that. But one of the things that I want to do is continue to build some coaching up, and we are doing that right now with something called Podio, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. Because there are ways to try to, you know, keep track of what you're doing as you're building your business or businesses. And so it's important that you have something to be able to do that. So I'm building teams and doing some coaching on locating properties and also locating cash buyers. And we're meeting on things like Google Hangouts, where we can do video conferencing. We're using things like TeamViewer to do remote access to people's computers if they need that kind of support. So there's different ways of handling that. So if anybody's interested in getting involved in any of this stuff, you should get back to me. You can grab one of my flyers or give me a call, an email, whatever, and we'll introduce you to some of the stuff that's going on, and you can see if it works for you. Okay? Personal power project. Now, last month I came in here and I said, hey, how many people have a place that they'd like to go solar? And there was a few hands. And Keith, you've got solar on your house? Okay. Are you happy?
I don't have a bill, yes.
He's very happy. What would your bill have been if you didn't have solar right now? 200. Okay, so he was about 200. From what I've been told, if you were about 100 or more, you need to start thinking about solar. If you're less than 100, it probably doesn't really matter a whole lot, you know, unless you just want to help the world out and go green. Okay? Well, one of the things that I found with going with Solar City is they do have a referral program, and I'm starting to get checks every month for referring people to Solar City. So that was the last month. And all you don't even have to have a solar on your house. You don't have to have solar, period. You can just get to Solar City and say, hey, I want to be on your referral program, and start talking to people. Okay? Refer something out, and you get a check at the end of the month. So that was last month. Now here's an example of this month. Another check came in, and this came in through PayPal, $400. And I don't know, you know, how many people have rental properties, but if you have a $400 cash flow in a rental property, you know what's attached to that cash flow, how much work you're going to have to do to deal with it and the tenants and everything else that goes on. There's not a whole lot of work here, getting $400 checks on a referral program through something like Solar City, and they're just sending those checks all the time. In fact, I talked to my brother-in-law probably for 2 years about solar. I was talking to him just the other day, and he goes, "Yeah, I finally did it. I went down to Home Depot, and somebody came up and started talking to me, so I signed up." And I said, "You're kidding, you just signed up like that?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "You just lost $200. He said, "I did?" And I said, "Yeah, I would have split that $400 referral with you. I've been talking to you about it for 2 years." He goes, "Ah, damn." So he jumped on the phone real quick, called up the person he was working with, and said, "You know, my brother-in-law is the one who got me to talk to you." And they said, "Okay, we'll give him the $400. So he's getting half of this here real soon. So that's where that check came from. Okay? So when you're doing this stuff, what you still want to do is be out there telling everybody, go to Solar City or go do this or go do that. You need to develop a relationship, head down the right path, and make it work. So we're going to be building teams to do this as well, and people will be making money from doing solar referrals. Okay? We just had our solar installed. We were up to about, this month is pushing $400 a month in electricity. I don't know what's going on in my house, but that's where we are. So it's a good thing to have because we're going to wipe that bill out. In fact, we locked it in for 20 years at $150. So as the rates start going up, keep going up, which they will, we're going to be at $150. Now, right now, say we're at even $300. If you were to say to somebody 20 years ago, you're going to be at $300, they'd say, "I'm at $30 a month right now. There's no way I'm going to be at $300. Well, we're at $300. So what's going to happen in the next 20 years? You could be at $3,000. Is that scary? So this is something you can seriously think about because they just put out the thing from Southern California Edison that the rates are going up next year and they're really pushing for a big increase. Okay. So automation, we talked a couple months back about automation and how if we do not ride the machines will have our job. We're not really worried about and shouldn't be worried about China because China is going to be in the same problem that we're in. You might think they're taking our jobs and you might think they're going to take us over, but the machines are really going to take everybody over. They're going to have the same problem we're going to have, and that is I was working at Home Depot and they have a automated machine and they don't need me as a checker anymore. They fired me. They already have it. Okay? So you're going to hear story upon story upon story about this kind of stuff happening, and our job is not to run from it and not to hide from it. When I say ride the machine, sure we can drive the car or whatever, but we need to mentally be able to ride this stuff too and put it to work for us. How many people in here have heard of Infusionsoft? Okay, so that's a great program for doing marketing, and all the people who are very successful use Infusionsoft because it's a great program. But it's also very expensive. You could probably pay $300, $400, $500 a month to be able to use Infusionsoft. So I spent the last couple months going, okay, so I want to be able to manage these different businesses. Thank you, Sharon, for showing up and for working with me on the coaching. She's looking at this going, oh my God, Dan, would you just quit it with the technology? Because it's like, can't we just do a deal?
All right.
And I got her going on Podio because she's one of the persons that's working with us on the coaching. And so we're getting through the process. And I found this is a program for doing client resource management, CRM, project management. There's a lot of different things. And it's also made by Citrix. Citrix, thank you. And they're the same people that make GoToMeeting, okay? So GoToMeeting is great. A lot of people are using it, but that's $50 a month, okay? And I had some hesitations about running out and paying $50 a month. Google Hangouts right now, you can do all that stuff on Google Hangouts. It works really well to do video conferencing. You can get a lot of people on there at once. You can share screens. You can do remote access. The remote access, like I said, isn't quite as good as using TeamViewer as far as seeing the screen, but you can do all that stuff. So Podio is a program that will do a lot of different things. Probably I won't jump into using something like GoToMeeting. In fact, I was just on a webinar, and that's the other day, and they were using GoToMeeting, and it was really bad. I mean, it was dropping out, and it's not that GoToMeeting was bad, they just had a bad connection. So, you know, you probably have the same problem if you're using Google Hangouts with a bad connection. But this is part of kind of building this whole thing up and building teams up and being able to manage all this stuff, is finding a program and tools that you can use, because if you don't use it, somebody else is, and it's just going to be that much harder for you to compete. Let's go take a quick look at what this program will do. It's about a 2-minute video and then I'm done. Modified audio. This is how easy it is to change the program to do what you want it to do. Click and drag. You want to set up different reports, things that look like spreadsheets, databases. You don't have to be a guru to be able to use this. She just closed the deal. Deal closed. She gets to go collect the check. She's happy. So that just gives you an idea. You know, when I first looked at this, I went, okay, so what's it going to cost me? How am I going to deal with all this stuff? And I talked to their tech support, and basically they said that if I don't have a bunch of different organizations, it's $9 a month. If you have a bunch of different organizations like Personal Power Project and Santa Barbara Computing and Santa Barbara SBREIA, and you create those separate things, you're going to have $9 a month for each one of them. But if you just have one, that everything else is a subset of that, you're paying $9 a month. So I created National Home Buyers, and Sharon said, oh my God, he's changing it already. What are you doing? And you put all this stuff underneath one organization, it's only costing you $9 a month. You could have 1,000 people out there that you were working with, and as long as they're contract workers and they're not, quote, an employee of yours, because each employee would have to pay $9 a month too. Well, you can make any employee a contract worker unless you... The difference is when you have a email extension like SantaBarbaraREIA.com, if you've got other people with that email address, they're an employee and they're going to charge you $9 a month. So are we having Sharon use that email? No, she's using her Gmail. She's a contract worker and it's not costing her anything. It's not costing me anything. I can have 1,000 people like that and manage this thing really well and still break it up. So this is something you want to take a look at for, you know, expanding your business and doing the things that you want to keep track of and do. Okay? So I am done. Let's go on to Keith. And Roberta and Keith, who's going to be speaking tonight? Okay, so let's give Keith a hand. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Keith Poley, founder of REI Wealth Academy. This is my partner over here, Roberta Eastman. We run the REI Wealth Academy out of Lompoc. We teach, we do real estate mentoring. We show you how to do the deals. We show you how to walk through them. Pretty much we hold your hand to get through the transactions. This market, guys, like he said, is turning. There's no inventory on the market right now. As you guys know, if you've been looking at the market at all, there's really no inventory out there. So if you can land something or lock something up.
And isn't that driving prices up?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We have a couple of deals over here that we're going to talk about tonight. We picked up in Lompoc. Lo and behold, you know, never thought we'd be doing it, but we were doing trailers a lot lately. We just picked up one. What did we pay? $5,500. We paid $5,500 for a double wide, 1,345 square feet. We did the rehab on it. We used another investor's money for the purchase and the rehab. We're gonna offer it, we just showed it this last week and we had a lot of traffic. We put signs up. We put bandit signs in front of Walmart, lease option purchase. We got a lot of calls on it. We're gonna sell it for $34,900 under carry with 15 grand down. The investors getting 50% of the profit, so it's a real good deal for them. And this was about a month. I think we're into it exactly a month. Let's see what else. We just picked up one today in Paso Robles for, believe it or not, 60 grand.
Ooh,
So I was having a really good day.
that's good.
Yeah, the market's 245 to 285.
That's excellent.
Picked it up for 60 grand.
What is
So-
it?
I'm sorry?
What is it, a single family?
It's a
home?
single family house, yeah. It needs a total gut,
Okay.
but it's a great location. It's like,
How'd you find it?
word of mouth, actually. Someone came to one of my partners and said, hey, I got this house. It was in the state. We want to get rid of it. We don't want the hassle. I got a couple of them, so we're working on a couple other ones with them too. But we made it win-win for everybody because they want it out. They wanted nothing to do with it because there's so much work that needs to be involved in it.
Right.
But we stand to make a good amount of money on this one. Everybody wins on the transaction. So those are the kind of like, it's a like what, 400 yards? 400 yards from the golf course.
Wow.
That's the score.
And the houses that are associated with the golf course. And then probably about a block and a half from the memorial, the new memorial thing up there. Veterans Memorial Building, the park.
Excellent.
I liked the location. I was like, oh my God.
That's
So it was a home run, yeah. So it was a good day today. And they come, they're out there, guys. They're out there. People are looking to, you have money sitting in the bank. They're looking to do something with their money. And this is all private money. I have nothing out of pocket on this. All the rehab, all the purchase, everything. It's another investor and we'll give them a 15% return on this one. And we'll flip it real quick.
excellent.
So,
Would you talk a little bit about your coaching?
coaching, we have Earn as You Learn. And I'm gonna make you talk now.
Actually, Dan, the business is half coaching and half buyer's inventory, because it's all coming to us from word of mouth. And that's what the conversation that Jim and I and we were having. I went to New England and to visit with my dad and came back with 5 private investors and a list of homes, 6 up in Maine, that are on short sale. We've got one here in Ojai, if anybody needs a house in Ojai as an investor. So they're all over the place, Lancaster, Massachusetts. And so the business is really split between the coaching for the new students and the new investors so that they can learn how to go out and start their career versus the experienced investors who are looking for the return on the money or to take the self-directed IRA or their old pensions, their old 401ks, transfer that over to a self-directed IRA. So they're building their real estate with no taxes.
Excellent. And the,
So it's split between those two.
and the coaching that you're doing, is it geared mostly to California or is it state?
No, it's nationally. We have students across the country,
Okay.
nationally, that are doing deals, are learning to do their deals. We have private investors all across the country now, and we have investors all over the country.
Good.
Pretty
Yeah.
national.
And they just helped me out with a short sale. They've got a company in Bakersfield someplace, and they're, really good doing the short sales. So, and I did a couple of years of that and just went, I don't want to do that anymore. I hate the paperwork and everything involved. So it was really nice to have that connection with you and have you help me get through that and just offload that work to somebody else so I can get back to doing what I need to do.
Mhm.
So thank you so much
You're
for the
very
help on that.
welcome. That's,
So thank you, Keith.
that's
That's it. Any questions from anybody?
Do you have private contractors or a team, to go rehab the $6,000?
Anything I do out of state, I have a team in place before I purchase it. I want to make sure that I have my due diligence done. Anything around here, I've got actually 2 good teams. I got one great team in Bakersfield right now that's doing a rehab on a duplex. And I've got some guys that just did the trailer that I just put that team together. 2 guys out of Longboat that are coming together. I work with them for the whole project to see what they knew. And then now that I know what they're capable of, what they're not capable of, we sat down at the end of the project and said, look, what'd you find good with this? What'd you find bad with this? Went through the whole scenario with them. And I said, what, on the bad part, what can we do to improve it? Because I see where your weakness is. I see where his weakness is. We need to work on that because it costs money. And I want to keep you guys working. So they had a basic understanding. They know what to do now. On the next project, we're on their own. I'll make sure they get the materials, make sure everything's paid for. I'm cutting them loose on the next project so they can do their own.
Thank you.
And we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
But the prep work was hiring right and handing them over a system to take care of. That's-
So on the next one,
that's-
it'll be the same, excuse me, it'll be the same material, same color code, same everything on this. You would give them a list with the SKU numbers for Home Depot and say, look, if you need a material, that's the product you need to pick up. Okay, they'll go in with the SKU numbers, they can give them the thing ahead of time, all the material will be ready for them, they go in and pick it up at the time saving. What else?
There you go, Chuck.
Can you tell me what you did then on short sales? I'm working a lot of short sales, just interested in how I'm trying to gather.
Sure.
Excuse me, allergies are kicking in.
All right, we just did one in Vegas. The gentleman owed $238,000 and we got it for $35,000. Now that particular one is down to the stud, so they're gonna have to do the rehab. But that's the kind of swing that we're getting on short sales. So Dan had a house and the person was over leveraged and he was okay with short selling it. So he could have done a sandwich lease or a lease option or short sale. This gentleman chose to do a short sale. And so we took that short sale and got all the paperwork. Oh, well, we went to the short sale company, our short sale company, and said, okay, here's the situation. And they sent out the paperwork, and now we've gotten signatures and so on and so forth.
And the bank accepted the 35 grand offer.
Yes,
Yes.
that's done. We
It's
closed on
closed.
that on the
I
9th.
got the
Is
check
it
on it
just a
today.
dirt lot, or what do you mean?
I'm sorry?
Is it just a lot, or?
No, actually, that was a house, and then we did one here in the village, Vanderburg Village.
Well, so you
and-
bought a house that's worth 285 for 35 grand in Vegas.
Correct,
Yes,
it
we
was a town,
short
it was
saled
a
it.
townhouse.
Yeah.
It had a flood in it, a pipe busted when they were on
280
vacation,
grand townhome.
so the bottom was gutted.
Okay.
It was just 2x4s, and the bank wanted nothing to do with it. It's been empty for a year, he hasn't paid a payment in a year, and we went through the process and he got it back for 35 grand. One of his relatives got it.
Right. And now we've done 2 single families, one in the village and one inland California as well. And the swing was $432,000 and we got that one for $99,000. And then a $438,000, we got that for $75,000. So to answer your question, Dan brought us the house, he put it in for the short sale company. Short sale company put all the paperwork together, goes to the bank and negotiates it and comes back and says, Dan, okay, you've got it, but Dan needs to have a buyer on the other end of that, which he has. So once the bank has that negotiated and accepts, then Dan brings in the buyer and we're done.
But it's always good to have lots of backup buyers. So if
Yeah.
anybody's interested,
Yeah.
there's still an option on this
You need to
one.
have a
How
backup
high as
buyer.
many as you find cash? I'm your backup buyer.
Yep, exactly.
Yes.
If it's worth 400, you can get it for 100, or it's
That's
worth
right.
280, you can get it for 35. I have tons of cash. Come to me.
Exactly.
We need to talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's exactly right. So you've got those buyers, we're buyers, Dan's got his own buyers, we've got, investors all over the country. So that's what you need to do. You're just connecting somebody who needs a short sale with a buyer, and you're just facilitating it.
That's it.
And we can help you do that. We can help you do
Okay. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate it. And Linda Pliagas, thank you so much. Let's give her a hand.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. Just wanted to make a few announcements. I'm having an expo in Los Angeles on October the 5th. We're very excited. We have over 600 people registered. It's going to be one of the largest events that we've ever had. Some of our sponsors include Equity Trust, Financial Momentum, the WealthyInvestor.net. We have 3 IRA companies supporting it: Horizon Trust, Equity Trust, and IRA Services Trust.
Wow.
So it's very exciting. I have flyers for everybody. Then my friend is having an REI Expo on November 2nd and 3rd. I have flyers about his expo too, so come visit me and I'll inform you and give you some flyers.
And Linda, about how many people do you think will show up at the one in Los Angeles?
I think we're gonna have about 250 to 300 people.
And have you had the same response in LA like you have in San Jose, where people are buying things right there on the spot in the
Yes.
meetings? You have that in Los
Yes, we do.
Angeles?
At the expo in San Jose, we had one vendor who had a software company called Resio.com. It's specifically for real estate agents and brokers. And he had a $25,000 private equity check right there on the spot. Somebody was so interested in his company that they wrote a check out in the amount of $25,000 to invest in his company at our expo, which is extraordinary, you know, and he was very happy and pleased with the results. And we've also had people who buy properties on the spot or make commitments to go back and visit the locations where the properties are held, and you know, they commit to buying properties. So being an agent, I've been an agent for over 10 years. I know how business is conducted in our industry, and it's a very personable business. Real estate really stands for relationships, and that's how business is done. We want to meet people in person, we want to get to know them, get a feel for who they are, and that's why we have expos not only in California but around the country, because I want to expose our fans, our readers, to the vendors, to the people that we do business with. And we have some of the largest companies supporting us now. It took me 5-6 years to get them to advertise with us, but now they're, you know, supporting us at different events with our magazine, and it's very exciting. In addition to Realty 411, I just purchased another publication from a company based in San Diego. I don't know if anybody has heard of Real Estate Investing Wealth. Has anybody heard of this publication? Yes, Roberta was actually the one that told me about it. And one day later, he called me and said, would you like to partner with me on this endeavor? And I couldn't turn it down because it's a monthly publication. It allows us the opportunity to reach people on a more timely basis. We can focus on different topics and spotlight different companies and different people that are associated with our business. So now, in addition to Realty 411 and our newspaper Cash Flow Express, I'm also the proud owner, 50% owner of Real Estate Investing Wealth magazine.
Yay.
And thank you. And the publisher, Nolan, he's a phenomenal guy, very nice. He's an engineer by trade. He's based in San Diego. If you come down to Los Angeles for our expo next week, you'll have an opportunity to meet him in person. He will be there introducing the publication. And right now, we're at the press with our newspaper, Cash Flow Express. I just finished it. We went from 12 pages to 24 pages, so we doubled the size of that newspaper. Very excited about it. I'll have the new issue next month to show you. And this month was particularly important for me in my career because it was the first month that I published a newspaper and the online magazine in 1 month.
Wow.
So between both, we have close to 100 pages of real estate content for our readers. So I'm very excited. Things are going very well. Right now we're planning the next Realty 411 magazine. So we're starting production in that. In addition, we're going to have a supplement in the middle of the magazine all about finance, all about private money, hard money, mortgages, everything that has to do with finance. And I just purchased a domain name to kind of promote that supplement, and I just purchased privatemoney411.com. So we're going to be promoting our supplement in that, you know, in that new website, and it'll just give us another way of capturing leads.
Good.
Yeah.
Now, a couple months ago, when Bill was here speaking, we had you in this room, and we had maybe 60, 80 people, something like that. And there was 3 or 4 people that actually were able to close deals and make something happen through the networking connections they got when they were here because of the event that you put on.
Yeah.
So it's a perfect example of why we need to build up our numbers so that we have more people showing up here. So thank you for putting that on.
Thank you. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions about the magazine, me, media, what's going on in my personal real estate endeavors, which is nothing because I tried to put a bid on a house and it already had 7 offers, so very frustrating.
Like he
We
said.
need to
No,
talk.
not the MLS. Yeah, there's something can be worked out there.
Can you read the magazine online?
Absolutely. Both of our publications, you can read Realty 411 online, and that is completely free. The newspaper that we have, Cash Flow Express, that's completely free as well. For this one, it's not free. This one, you have to pay for it, but it's definitely well worth it. It's an iPad-based publication. We also will have it available for Android and iPhones coming up. It's very cost effective. It's only $3.99 per issue. And the money does go back to support our business and help expand our business, help produce more publications. And just to let you know, I get about 4 to 5 requests per day for a Realty 411 issue. And we do the best we can to send them out free of charge. We don't charge, shipping or mailing. We really try and provide that as a free issue for as many people as we can. And a lot of the people that request a free issue, I know they can't afford it, or maybe they're not really investors, but they want to be. They have that drive, that hope, that inspiration in them. And I don't want to turn them down. I want to help inspire and motivate them, because just because you don't have money right now doesn't mean you won't have money 2 or 3 years from now. If you have that drive, that desire, and you educate yourself and you're willing to work hard, you can turn your life around. It doesn't take 20, 30 years. It can be very quickly, and we want to be there to support them if they so choose to do that.
And in the reading of this information, you just might find out how to do this with no money.
Cool.
Right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, in fact, I did my first deal ever as an investor with no money down. We got a private loan from family members. We used that as our initial deposit for the deal. Then the seller carried a second mortgage on the property, and this was in a prime area of Los Angeles, Culver City. So no money down deals do work, they can work. You just have to know how to structure them properly. But they do happen, and there are a lot of people out there that are willing to help new investors and willing to put capital into their deals. Just like Keith was mentioning, they just did a deal with an investor's private money. So things like that do happen, and we have to be ready to, we have to have an open mind, but most importantly, we have to be educated so we can know how to put those deals together.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
So thank you very much, and I want you to come.
We've got Brandon Hawkinson. Thank you very much, Brandon.
Usually I have a piece of paper and I dress up, but today I'm just gonna keep it informal and simple. I'm a numbers don't lie, people do kind of person, and my favorite rating quote ever is trust but verify. Remember that in all things you ever listen to and hear. I document things for a living. So everything I'm about to tell you, I'll meet with you one-on-one if you're someone that other people trust and respect, or you have a real deal or a need to borrow money. Just wanted to preface everything with that. I live here in Las Vegas. I have a place both places. 1 week a month I'm living in Vegas. The rest of my life I'm on top of the highest hill in this town overlooking islands and oceans. And I've created like my own little dream life. I'm the approved lender for the #1 realtor and real estate company in the state of Nevada, Result Realty, Zoll Zorzai, and 4 others of the top 10 real estate companies. I get all my production from top producing realtors, CPAs, and financial advisors. I have $35 million in escrow right now. And I'm, again, trust but verify. I can prove any of this right on that laptop, or you could Google it, type my name and you'll see a few things. Some of the things I wanted to go over super fast. Directors Financial Group is a member of Lenders One, a national alliance of mortgage banks. We do 12% of the nation's volume of mortgages each month. Second only to we're second only to Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo beats us. They're the biggest mortgage holder and issuer in the world because they buy all the mortgages. We can beat their rates, we can beat their products. We don't do a higher volume. But our pricing and interest rates are based on the, $1.5 to $3 billion a month in production that the Alliance of Mortgage Banks, that Lenders One, if you want to Google that Lenders One encompasses. Means I have good rates. To speak to the markets, San Ynez, not a home listed in the whole county or area or region, not one, nothing's listed. Las Vegas, the amount of homes available for sale have tripled over the last 5 months. So not every market's destitute. We went from 2,300, now we're getting up to 6,000, units available in Vegas. Something else to keep in mind, with 35 to 50% down payment, I can go state. It's private, it's private money. I work with the two largest private money lenders in the country, Val, Chris, and Athos Capital. I've said that in front of this room many times. Again, trust but verify. Anything that's the truth can always be documented. It can always be proven. Someone says some crazy, fantastical thing, as someone that documents everything for a living, to issue lots and lots of money, tell them prove it. Show me. Show me the HUD-1. Show me the contract. Show me the deed of trust. Call escrow. Verify it yourself. So the terms on 35 to 50% down private money would be anywhere from 8 to 12% interest only, depending on your credit and how much money you put down. But we don't care about debt ratios.
What's the term?
8 to 12% interest only.
Term.
35.
Length
That's in 2 to 3 years usually. 2 to 3 years. The national average is every 14 months. Most all hard money's paid off. The average turn time on hard money, people pay it off within 14 months. Oftentimes sooner if they're flipping and wholesaling and all that fun stuff. Directors Financial Group and myself have a program for FHA buyers where we will lend them the down payment. We won't lend them closing cost and down payment, but if a friend or family member loves them enough to lend them some closing cost money, we'll lend them the down payment at 8.25% amortized over 15 years, which, since nobody else is even doing that, is pretty cool. It's not bad. Aside from that, that's about all I really wanted to mention, other than any questions that you guys may have about things you're hearing. Bernanke spoke last Wednesday, are rates going up, down, fears, concerns, short sales, foreclosures. And sometimes I can't stay in here for all the speakers. Not these speakers, but someone that lives the game on the highest level and really does just a shit ton of business. Some of the things I hear, I gotta go. I walk out. It's not to be rude or because I don't want to hang out and talk to you guys. It's because I'll be that guy in the crowd going, well, what about this, that, I hate naysayers. So trust but verify. Anything that's the truth can be documented, and make it documented. Prove it. Show me. Other than that, does anybody have any questions? No? All right, I'll give you all a business card.
Thank you so much, Brandon, appreciate that. Okay, so we're going to take just a quick break as we get things set up for Jim. So if anybody wants to grab a little bit more food, a little bit more wine,